Confidential video of Menglong's final moments, authorized for public release. The country froze. And somewhere, in a quiet room dimmed by grief, Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan sat side by side, their eyes locked on the television, waiting for the truth they both feared and craved. The clock struck 9. The national emblem shimmered on the screen. Then came the voice, stern, official, unshaken. The following footage has been verified and cleared for public release by order of the Supreme Court. Viewer discretion is advised. Yibo's knuckles turned white against his chair. Xiao Zhan's breath hitched, his gaze trembling on the image that appeared. A dim cell, a camera's cold eye, and Menglong, sitting silently on a narrow bed, the faintest trace of sorrow lingering on his lips. The room was lit by a single bulb, the silence deafening. And then he moved. His voice broke the air, soft, cracked, but steady. Every syllable carved into eternity. If this message reaches the world, it means the truth refused to die with me. I was never the villain. I was the proof that light still burns, even in the darkest cells. The audience watching across China gasped. He continued, glancing toward the unseen guard behind the camera. They said I was guilty, but the evidence they feared was love. Love that crossed the lines of fame, loyalty, and silence. A tear slid down Yibo's cheek. Xiao Zhan's hand gripped his arm tightly. They knew what he meant. They had always known. The video flickered, and suddenly, the screen glitched. Static hissed, the frame split, revealing another angle, one the public had never seen before. A second camera. A hidden lens. Menglong looked straight into it, as if he knew it was there. As if he knew one day, the world would see it all. To those who loved me, to those who believed in me, Yibo, Zhan, forgive the silence. The secret I carried wasn't mine to tell. It was about you both. Gasps rippled through the court, through homes, through hearts. Xiao Zhan covered his mouth, trembling. Wang Yibo's voice was barely a whisper. He knew. The video continued, revealing what no one dared imagine. Menglong reached under his thin mattress, pulling out a folded piece of paper. It was old, creased, and marked with something faint, a seal from the Cultural Security Bureau. He held it up to the camera. This document, this is the reason I was silenced. It exposes the one who ordered my downfall, the one who staged the scandal, the one who wanted me gone. But it also holds your names, not as enemies, but as the last witnesses to the truth. Yibo's jaw clenched. He remembered the night he had been called to testify, the same night he and Xiao Zhan had been forbidden to speak. They had promised to keep silent, to protect him, but Menglong had protected them instead. The revelation hit like thunder. The footage shifted again, grainy scenes captured from security cameras unseen before. Clips from rehearsals. Candid shots from a film set long buried by censorship. Menglong laughing with Yibo. Xiao Zhan sharing a meal with him at midnight. Moments that felt ordinary, yet now felt like relics of something holy. Each frame carried warmth, trust, and the unspeakable, a brotherhood forged in the fire of fame. They told me, Menglong's recorded voice whispered, that loyalty is a crime when it threatens the powerful. But I never betrayed my friends. I just couldn't save myself. Tears streamed across millions of faces that night. Back in the courtroom, officials sat frozen. The presiding judge paused the footage. Cameras swiveled toward him, his expression unreadable. The evidence contained in this video, he said slowly, appears to contradict the official findings of the case. An immediate internal review has been authorized. The reporters erupted. Flashes exploded. The Supreme Court of China had never admitted a possible miscarriage of justice in a celebrity case, until now. In the viewing hall, Yibo rose abruptly. The cameras followed him, his face pale, his eyes red. He couldn't take it anymore. He stormed out, the doors slamming behind him. Xiao Zhan followed, calling after him. Yibo, wait. Outside, the rain had begun to fall, soft but relentless. Yibo stood in the courtyard, head bowed, whispering, He protected us, Zhan. He died to keep us clean, and they buried him like a traitor. Zhan stepped closer, voice trembling. Then we tell the truth, Iba. No matter what it costs. Their eyes met, two souls finally ready to set fire to the silence. The video returned to Menglong. He was now holding something small, a flash drive, sealed in clear plastic. If this is still in my cell after I'm gone, he said, then the people who feared me failed to destroy it. Inside this drive lies every recording, every message, every proof that I was framed. And maybe something even greater, a confession from someone you'd never expect. The camera zoomed closer, and just before the footage ended, Menglong looked directly into the lens. When the truth comes out, don't remember me for how I died. Remember me for the light I left behind. Then silence. The screen went black. And across the country, hearts shattered. For hours after the broadcast, China's social media burned. Hashtags flooded Weibo. The video didn't just start, it haunted. Every pixel trembled with silence, as if the air itself feared to breathe. Menglong sat on the narrow bed, his posture rigid but vulnerable. The dim light above flickered, casting shadows that seemed alive, creeping along the walls of the cell. His eyes, those familiar, piercing eyes, looked past the camera, past the world, directly at Iba and Jean. A shiver ran through the room. Iba's hand tightened over Jean's, though neither moved. They were frozen, trapped in a nightmare that felt far too real. Menglong's lips parted, voice breaking the silence, like a shard of glass. I knew they would watch this. I knew the world would see what they wanted hidden. But there's more than darkness here. There's truth. And truth burns. The camera shook slightly, capturing him reaching for something under the mattress. The tension was unbearable. Iba leaned forward instinctively, Jean holding his shoulder to stop him from rushing into the screen. Their breaths caught, heavy and synchronized with the flickering bulb. He pulled out a small notebook, edges worn, corners frayed, the ink smudged with tears. Opening it, he held it close to the camera. Every word was deliberate like a heartbeat. Names, faces, promises, all recorded here. They wanted me silent, invisible, erased. But I couldn't disappear without leaving a trace. Iba's eyes stung, his throat tightening. Jean's hand shook. He could almost hear Menglong's heartbeat through the screen. The notebook wasn't just paper. It was a testament, a living memory of a friendship that the world had tried to suffocate. Suddenly, a flicker in the corner of the cell, the faintest movement of a shadow. The camera panned slightly, revealing a guard standing just beyond reach. Yet, Menglong didn't flinch. He spoke to him, calm but icy. You've been watching me for months, recording, judging, waiting. But you don't understand. I am not your enemy. The real enemy is the silence you keep. Iba's chest constricted. He remembered the countless times Menglong had protected them, shielding them from rumors, threats, and hidden agendas. And now, facing his last moments, he revealed it all. The unspoken truths, the sacrifices, the unbearable weight he carried alone. The camera shifted, catching him writing quickly in the notebook, hands trembling but determined. Each stroke was precise, almost sacred. If I fall, this will remain. If I vanish, the world must know. Loyalty cannot be bought, friendship cannot be broken, and love is stronger than fear. Outside the cell, the hallway was silent. The faint drip of water echoed like a metronome, each drop marking seconds that Menglong may never see again. But inside, there was defiance, a quiet fire that refused to die. Iba whispered, almost to himself, "He's so brave, even now." Jean nodded, tears glimmering in his eyes. "And we're too late, but not for long. We'll carry it forward." The footage then revealed something unexpected. Menglong reached under his bed again, this time pulling out a small, sealed envelope. The seal was worn but intact, stamped with an insignia Iba recognized immediately, the one that had sparked nightmares in their shared past. "Inside this envelope," he said softly, almost reverently, "is the secret they wanted buried with me. It is not just my story, it is ours. And one day, it will speak louder than any court, louder than any verdict." The camera lingered on him for a long moment. His eyes shimmered, a mixture of fear, sorrow, and unyielding courage. Then, almost imperceptibly, he whispered, "Iba, Jean, forgive me, but I leave you a choice. Will you hide in shadows, or step into the light? I never could." The cells seemed to shrink around the weight of those words. Iba's fists clenched. He could almost feel the pulse of Menglong's final heartbeat, the unspoken plea carried in the silence between the words. Suddenly, the screen trembled as Menglong's shadow shifted toward the camera, and for a heartbeat, it felt as if he were in the room with them, not trapped behind glass and distance. The emotional intensity was unbearable. Every viewer across the nation felt it. A presence, a farewell, a secret too dangerous to be spoken aloud until now. He paused, looking at the notebook, the envelope, then back into the lens. His voice cracked, heavy with the knowledge of impending death. "I have done what I could, and now I trust you. Protect it. Guard it. Reveal it when the time comes. Because the world must remember, not the way I fell, but the way I stood." The final shot lingered. Menglong sitting on the edge of his bed, eyes staring at the floor, hands gripping the notebook and envelope as if holding life itself. A single tear fell, glinting in the dim light, catching the last rays of a world he would no longer see. Then, silence. The screen went black. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. Across China, millions held their breath. Wang Yiba and Xiaozhan sat frozen, faces pale, hearts pounding. The weight of the secret, the horror of what had been hidden, the brilliance of what Menglong had preserved, pressed upon them like the gravity of 1,000 storms. Outside, the wind picked up. Rain began to fall, soft at first, then heavier, as if the heavens themselves were mourning. Yiba whispered, barely audible, "He trusted us, and now we have to be worthy of that trust." Jean squeezed his hand. "We will. We have to. He gave us no choice." In the distance, the city lights blurred under the downpour. But inside, the memory of Menglong's last moments burned brighter than any neon glow. Every flicker of his courage, every tremor of his voice, every secret he had preserved, it was alive. The video had ended. But for Yiba, Jean, and the world watching, Menglong's presence had not left. It lingered, raw, unyielding, a call to action, a warning, a plea. And somewhere, in the cold silence of a cell, his legacy waited, ready to ignite a storm.